Since I arrived in Cutter Gap, the obstacles to teaching had been endless. Unpredictable weather, feuds, and the endless demands of family farming were only a few of the disruptions. I sometimes mistakenly thought that with school out, my problems would be fewer.
Hello? Miss Alice! They're calling all the way from Pennsylvania.
This is Alice Henderson.
It's a prideful day when we get us a telephone call.
Oh, yes. Please read it. He is. Well, I'll be thank thee. Oh, thank thee so much. A dear friend is celebrating his birthday. Oh, my. Oh, my. Oh. This is unwise. Leaving at the last moment's too impulsive.
Miss Alice, I think it's fun. And besides, Mr. Scott did send you a special invitation.
You're right, of course. And to think I nearly missed it because he wasn't sure where to write to me. It's fortunate that our Quaker circle thought to telephone. I really should stay.
What are you doing?
Well, if the truth be known, I'm anxious about seeing him again. I owe so much to him. The very shape of my life. But it was 26 years ago. I wasn't any older than you. Miss Huddleston, would they accompany me to Kentucky? Oh, please consider it.
The invitation was intriguing. There was so much I wanted to know about Miss Alice but could never ask. It seemed a rare chance to see where she had lived and to meet her friends. The Great Smokies. When I left my city home to be a school teacher at a backwoods mission, I dreamed of adventure. I wasn't ready for the real challenges of life in these mountains. I'd have given up, if not for the children. I came to Cutter Gap to teach, but they show me every day that I am here to learn.
So peculiar. I know I'm going forward, but I feel like I'm traveling back in time.
Was the settlement your first experience as a teacher?
Have your tickets ready?
And practically everything else. I knew nothing of the sacrifices some people make to survive. I never should have left my daughter behind.
Margaret wasn't with you?
My parents thought she'd be better off. They were wrong, of course. But the unexpected joy of working with Joseph Scott in his ministry.
He must have been a remarkable man.
He gave faith the human dimension I've not seen before or since.
Miss Alice, I hope you don't mind me saying so, but Mr. Scott sounds like everything a woman might hope for in a husband.
Oh, Christy. Ours was not the idea. Reverend Scott was married.
The trip to Kentucky seemed to take forever. And the closer we got, the more it affected Miss Alice. I'd never seen her so flustered.
Certainly is quite a distance from town.
Deliberately so. Reverend Scott believes his community should be self-sufficient.
You'll have to walk the rest. Here.
I don't understand. That was absolutely the rudest behavior I've ever seen. Why is he making us walk, Miss Alice? Miss Alice?
I don't know what I expected at Joseph Scott settlement, but a Negro community was not among them. Miss Alice had simply left it out. It seemed not to occur to her. But I had not known many colored people. Only I made it home in Asheville. I felt awkward here, and very much a stranger.
Lord the mercy. Miss Henderson? Lizzie. Oh, Lizzie. And Jim, is that you? What's left of him? Oh.
Miss Alice, you was a sight for my one good eye.
Oh, where are my manners? This is Miss Christy Huddleston. She's traveled all the way with me from our mission in Tennessee. Oh, Lizzie. Lizzie, look. Oh.
I bet you don't know who this youngster is.
Welcome.
Daniel.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Dan Scott.
Does they not remember Alice Henderson? Of course, there was only 4 when I left.
Yes, ma'am. I remember you talked funny.
Well, it's good to have a legacy and to see what a fine young man there has become. Where's thy dear father? Happy birthday, Reverend.
Alice? So good to see you. Where's that young girl I used to know?
She couldn't be here, so she sent me instead. I was so grateful to receive thy invitation.
What?
The letter about thy celebration.
So you haven't come of your own accord? I never sent you any letter.
Esther, it looks well.
I'm getting by.
Miss Huddleston, this is Esther Scott, Joseph's wife.
It's a pleasure, Mrs. Scott.
I sent you that invitation.
But why? Clearly, I am an unwelcome surprise.
There's nothing unwelcome about you here. You was hurt because you never came back. It's time you mended it.
Dr. McNeil. Thank goodness you're here.
Preacher's got the misery something fierce, Doctor.
Don't be deceived by her innocent exterior. The little torture's been feeding me spiders.
Just one. And butter.
Well, pills made from spider eggs work just as well. I'll take it from here, Ruby May.
You aren't serious about those spider eggs.
It's just humoring the girl. You look like you do a little humor yourself.
I'm at my wit's end, Doctor. I can't work. I can't sleep. Could you help me?
Well, as a matter of fact, I can. I'm going to prescribe A special tonic. Here, now this will help you, Esther. Now just sip it. I'll check in on you tomorrow.
Do you remember the night my boy came into the world?
Your Daniel was the first human being I'd ever seen born. The first miracle I ever witnessed with my own eyes.
I didn't want your midwife and my baby that night. I was jealous of what you had with my man.
I never knew.
I never said. I used to watch you with him, sitting by the fire, reading the holy book, being something I never could.
Joseph has always loved thee.
It was what you had that I wanted. His respect.
Esther, there has that as well. In those terrible times, after Geneva died, it was thy love that brought him back to life. He's often told me he would have failed without you with him. But I did love him. In my own way.
And don't give up. Please.
Settlement is thriving, Reverend. Just as they planned so long ago. They must be proud.
The Lord will destroy the house of the proud.
Oh, I suspect there might be an exception in that case.
The Almighty doesn't make exceptions, you know that.
And yet he must know the futility of punishing a person like Joseph Scott. Thy obstinate nature would only mean building that house again.
You're as contrary as ever.
Joseph, I owe thee an apology for not returning sooner. I'm grateful to Esther for asking me back.
You would have come before now if you'd wanted to.
I'd still be here if you hadn't sent me away.
Boys and ladies, let's go back to now. This ain't your business. Come on out here now. Those ridiculous white hoods make an easy target in the night. Now, which one of you wants me to prove it? You don't belong with that filth. My young friend and I are here of our own volition. How dare you question our right to be anywhere in a free country?
Whoso diggeth the pit shall fall therein.
The devil can cite scripture for his own purpose. Now get out of here before I forget I'm a Christian woman.
This ain't over yet. We'll be back.
Sooner or later, the hate shows itself. But their white hoods and cowardly raids will only make us stronger. Because this settlement is God's plan.
What if they come back?
And we'll defend ourselves.
Yeah.
Faith alone isn't gonna protect the women and children, Papa.
We won't raise our hands against anyone.
Papa, we can't just let them ride in here again. To do nothing is madness.
You rise up, they'll have an excuse to start killing. Is that what you want? To find somebody drowned in a river or hanging from some tree? Whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other also.
I'm not afraid to fight for this place. Even if you don't think it's worth it.
Don't you tell me what this settlement is worth. They killed my wife because educated fools like you knew everything.
The Ku Klux Klan raid was as sudden as it was terrifying. No one was hurt, but the message was clear, that Joseph Scott's settlement of Freedom, Kentucky was anything but free. I don't think any of us could get the image of that cross out of our minds. But then, as happened so often back in Kettegap, my spirits were soon lifted by children.
I don't see her no more.
Didn't anyone ever tell you it isn't polite to spy on people?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, no, ma'am.
My name is Christy Huddleston. And yours are?
Jesse Booker, Washington Polk.
And yours?
Kobe, you got a tell on us?
I haven't decided yet.
Here's our school.
This is a lot nicer than mine. Did you know I'm a teacher?
I'd like to teach when I'm old like you. Our teacher's Miss Cecile. She's uncommon pretty, like you.
I wonder if she was as frightened as me last night.
Frightened as I. Last night wasn't so bad, Miss Christie. White caps fired at our cabin once. My newborn baby sister almost got burnt up. But the Reverend Joseph got her out. Some white folks are always wanting to be hurtful.
I was ashamed at my innocence. These children had faced hardships I never dreamed of. There was so much I still had to learn about life beyond Asheville, or even Kettegap.
So, how are we feeling today?
Much better. After one cup of this tonic, I slept like a baby. And I've been sipping it all day, as prescribed.
Thought it might help. So, does Ruby May know you're back at work?
If she did, she'd hog-tie me in the storage room.
I wouldn't blame her if she did. I do the same myself. You need to rest.
Doctor, I have to ask you something. How is it that you can love medicine with all of its mysteries and miracles and still deny the existence of God?
Oh, we're not going to harp on that again.
No harping. I promise. I really want to know.
What, how I feel about God or how I feel about religion?
I didn't know you believed in either.
I don't deny that God exists, only that he has anything to do with me.
Do you honestly believe he's not working through you when you perform surgery?
Well, if he is, he's not doing a very good job. People die.
No one knows why God decides who lives or dies.
Maybe he doesn't concern himself at all.
I'd rather not entertain that thought. If you don't mind.
What's the matter, Grantland? You afraid we might be alone in this world?
In a word, yes.
The children of Freedom, Kentucky taught me that the Bible looks very different when viewed through someone else's eyes.
Do you like it?
It's wonderful.
I see Noah's Ark and the Good Samaritan.
I drew the prodigal son.
And very well. I can't think of a better birthday present.
Problem is, we can't finish it without the right colors. We don't have any paint because sometimes when Mrs. Seal orders things, they don't get here from town.
You know, where I'm from, we can't afford to buy paint. So do you know what we do?
What?
We make our own.
Really?
This tonic is really something. Someone ought to bottle it.
That's a good idea.
Well, I might as well get back to work, Doctor. Isn't that odd?
Do you realize, Grantland, that this is the longest conversation we've ever had?
I hate to admit this, but I'm enjoying it.
It's a pity. We can't be friends. Even though we disagree all the time, we do have two things in common. We're both dedicated to our work and immovable in our beliefs.
There's a third thing, Doctor. Our appreciation for a certain young woman. Come on now, Doctor. I know you're married. Deep down inside, you find Christy intriguing.
Of course I do. I find anyone devoted to the cove intriguing.
It isn't nice to lie to a man of the cloth, Doctor. No matter. I might as well tell you. I've already proposed marriage to her.
And how did she answer?
She's thinking about it.
Well then, she could still say no.
Daniel, I've been looking for thee.
I had to get away for a while.
I understand.
Miss Henderson, I don't believe you've met Miss Cecile Carver. She's our school teacher and is my bride-to-be. Cecile, this...
Alice Henderson, of course. I've heard so much about you from Reverend Joseph.
Well, I'm flattered, but I fear his high opinion of me may have changed of late.
He'll always be grateful to the woman who taught him to read. See you at supper?
I can't avoid him forever.
She's lovely.
Miss Henderson, despite what my father said last night, I hope you know how much he admires you.
I think we've both come to realize neither of us is the person we once were. I was surprised to hear him resist defending the settlement. It's not at all like he used to be.
Well, he used to think that education was all important too, but he's moving away from that now that I want more. He says there's no place in the white world for a colored doctor.
Our father once preached there was room for each of us in God's world.
Well, I try to tell him that it's changing. I tell him every day. We have Negro regiments in the Army now, and colleges of our own, good colleges. Lincoln, Tuskegee, Meharry. It's been 50 years, Miss Henderson. But to my father, we're still slaves on the plantation.
That night, the tension was thick. The dinner is wonderful, Mrs. Scott. I wish I could learn to cook like this.
Anybody can learn anything given the opportunity for schooling.
I'll thank you to mind your tongue at my table.
Miss Huddleston, have I ever told thee of Reverend Scott's and my reading lessons when I arrived to teach? They were an exercise in what our friends in the code would call long-headedness.
I guess you know all about long-headedness, since you hell-bent on backing my son to go against my wishes. Cecile came to me. She was very distressed.
Reverend,
Listen, this settlement got along just fine without your guidance.
I felt so sorry for Miss Alice. I'm so powerless to change anything.
Excuse me, please. Miss Huddleston and I will leave in the morning.
This ain't easy, so I'll say it right out. He's dying.
What did you say?
It's been coming a long time. His tiredness, his swelling ankles and feet, his heart's failing. Nobody knows, not even him.
Oh, Esther, I'm sorry.
Then stay and heal your hurt with him. Or Joseph needs to make his peace.
Did you know that the Klan killed Reverend Scott's first wife?
Oh, yes. It was shortly after he purchased this land. He'd worked and dreamt and saved for 20 years, slave and free man. And in one night of violent evil, it was gone. Geneva Scott was carrying their unborn baby when she was murdered.
And Dan is an only child.
I believe I understand the pain of what's happening between them, and that's what I wanted to discuss with you. I wonder what do they think I should do?
You want advice from me?
I respect their opinion, Christy, and I'm torn. It's not right to pry into people's lives.
David always says that we can never predict when God will intervene. Isn't it possible that you were sent here for a reason? Miss Alice, maybe you are the instrument of his will for Joseph and Dan.
Thank you.
Only when her daughter Margaret broke her heart had I seen Miss Alice in such pain.
Joseph, when you sent me away, I didn't understand. I thought they was punishing me. All I knew was the hurt I felt. I now know that you were right. My place was with my child. My silence was caused by shame. My shame. You sent me home to be a proper, loving parent, and I failed you. And I failed Margaret.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, that's done. I spent too much time hiding from the truth. I immersed myself in mission work, hiding in it. I even managed to set aside the painful memory of leaving here.
Well, you needn't fret yourself about coming back. You're not the only one who failed as a parent.
Excuse me? I hope I'm not intruding. I promised Kobe and Jess I'd meet them here.
It's kind of you to help make watercolors, Miss Huddleston. I wouldn't know where to begin.
Well, when your budget is small, you learn to be resourceful. The people of Cutter Gap taught me that. I've been meaning to compliment you. Kobe and Jess are far ahead of some of my students.
Education is important to Reverend Joseph.
Up to a point, it seems.
What do you mean?
Well, isn't it odd that he doesn't want his son to study medicine?
I love Dan, but sometimes he's too bullheaded for his own good.
Well, that may be, but
there's a big difference between your world and ours. The sooner he learns that and settles down where he belongs, the better.
I didn't mean to make you angry.
Your coming from the outside has stirred things up that were better left alone.
But the outside world is there, Miss Cobb. It cannot be shut out no matter how hard you try.
We don't have much choice when the world comes to visit with torches and hatred.
Good
morning, children. Miss Huddleston is waiting for you.
Well, I have everything we need for our special watercolors. Do you still want to try?
Yes!
All right. Here's how we're going to do it. We are going to get bright red from radishes and the greenest green you ever saw from violet leaves. Most important of all, heavenly gold for paving streets with from sunflower petals. I can't believe they're having a party after all that's happened.
Sisters taught them to celebrate life when they can, Miss Huddleston.
Ooh, what have we got here? My, what an excellent book.
We made it ourselves.
You did?
Miss Christy helped us with the colors. We got all the special colors from heaven, just like you said.
I can see that. You know, I expect even heaven doesn't look as good as these beautiful pictures. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Papa.
Look around you, oh, what a beautiful city. Oh, what a beautiful city. Oh, what a beautiful city. 12 gates to the city, hallelujah. They got 3 gates in the east, 3 gates in the west, 3 gates in the north, 3 gates in the south. 12 gates to the city, hallelujah.
Sing it. I got something for Reverend Joseph. From all of us. In a letter for Dan.
Oh, I never had anything so beautiful. He shall feed his flock like a shepherd. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Open it. I said open it. Well, if it isn't Mayberry Medical College in Nashville, turning you down for a scholarship. Let me tell you something. Mayberry and Tuskegee and all the rest of them, they're just places where fool-hearted coloreds go to tell each other that there's something that they're not.
God forbid they should know something you don't.
How dare you talk to me that way?
Because I'm not you, Papa. No, Cecile. I'll never be you. Don't you see that? Why can't you see it? I don't want to be you.
I can't watch the men I love do this.
Please don't let anger come between you.
Joseph, inside, surely you believe in your son.
Yeah, I believed in you two once, and look what it got me. 26 years of being a fool for believing.
I told you I was hurt. You sent me away.
Yeah, you did your charity work here. Then you couldn't forget us fast enough. Well, what's keeping you, boy? Why don't you go, huh? Find out what the white man thinks about you. But don't come crawling back. Huh?
Oh, wait. Reverend, are you okay?
There
Joseph's collapse was a shock to the community. He had seemed so strong and invincible. But as the facts of his ailment spread, everyone joined hands in prayer.
Sometimes I feel discouraged.
Miss Christy, is Reverend Joseph getting well? We've been praying real hard.
So have I. I know your Bible picture book made him feel better, though.
It did?
It's right beside his bed.
You gave us quite a scare, Joseph. How you feeling?
Like a dying man. I've known all along.
How?
I was planting the south field. It was late. Everybody had gone in, but I kept on working. Something I can't explain made me stay. Before I knew it, I was looking up at a wondrous sunset. I'd never seen anything so glorious. The way it lit up the sky with all those colors. I could see right through to heaven. And peace washed over me. My body warmed from the inside out. The air smelled so sweet. Then I understood. The Lord was telling me my time was near. I'll never harvest that field come autumn. I don't know what I did to deserve that beautiful woman. She's truly a blessing.
She is troubled about thee and about thy son.
Alice, just because he thinks he wants something won't make it happen. You know that.
I do not. But I do know that you cannot improve the future of the world by separating people according to the color of their skin. We are all God's children. 30 years ago, that was just an idea to me. You made it live. Let it live for thy son. Let him know that wherever his dream takes him in this life, his father would have approved.
I'm tired. I have to sleep.
Are you all right? What happened to your father is not your fault.
I don't feel much like talking right now, Miss Huddleston.
I understand. I just don't want you to think that you caused this.
But I should have seen it. He's dying of heart failure. The man's heart is failing him. It's funny. He never failed his people. And I should have seen it.
It's not too late. Go to him.
Standing in the need of prayer. Not my brother, not my sister, but it's me, oh Lord. Standing in the need of prayer. Not not my brother, not my sister, but it's me, oh Lord.
Standing in the need of prayer.
Not the preacher, not the deacon, but it's me, oh Lord.
Standing in the need of prayer.
Not the preacher, not the deacon, but it's me, oh Lord.
Standing in the need of prayer.
Oh, it's me,
oh Lord. Standing in the need of prayer.
It's me,
oh Lord. Standing in the need of prayer.
Not my father, not my mother, but it's me, oh Lord.
Standing in the need of prayer.
Not my father, not my mother, but it's me, oh Lord.
It's all right. It's all right. You can rest. Your work is finished. It's time to rest.
Oh, Papa, my son.
Oh, it's all right.
The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth. He...
Oh, Papa.
Mama. Mama, don't worry. 'Cause I'm staying.
No. The best thing you could do for this man is to come back here someday as a doctor.
The Lord is my light and my salvation. Of whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even mine enemies and my foes, come upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Though an host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war should rise against me, in this will I be confident. Funny how small it looks.
What does?
The world. Thousands and thousands of miles. Millions of people. And they make it look so tiny. Like a child's toy. I remember when Papa gave this to you.
He wanted the children to know where we came from.
Maps can also show you where you're going. As soon as I have the money, I'll send for you.
I'll be here.
Oh, it is hard leaving you.
It's hard being left.
It's time.
Doc McNeil, preacher's still pasty-like, and it's been days.
Well, Ruby May, I think it's time we reconsidered that spider egg cure.
Oh, well, I know where I can get a whole lot of them spider eggs.
I'll get you for this. Alice! Christy, welcome home.
So, Alice, how was the birthday party?
Well, it was, Dr. McNeil, it was a triumph of love. This is Daniel Scott, Reverend Scott's son. He's come to work in our mission.
Pleasure, sir.
In exchange for an apprenticeship in thy medical practice.
I beg your pardon?
Consider it an obligation to thy Hippocratic oath. He will make an able surgical assistant. He is also versed in animal husbandry, which will leave thee more time for thy research. And this is the Reverend David Grantland.
Reverend.
Doc McNeil, I found them spider eggs.
This is going to be interesting.
Daniel Scott, this is Ruby Mae Morrison.
Ruby Mae?
For the people of Cut a Gap, few events would prove as unexpected and controversial as the arrival of our first Negro citizen. But for Alice Henderson, it would become payment of a long-standing personal debt.